What is up, guys? It is Alice. So today I'm going to be showing you how I edit my photos. So I prefer more of a simple, like not super edited look on my photos. I prefer also like cooler tones, and so you'll see what I like. But so here is the app I use. I use VSco, and this is my favorite editing app in the entire world. I've tried so many editing apps, and this is the only one I use now, and it's my favorite one. So let's get started. I'm going to be editing the 3 photos on top. So I'm going to start with this ice cream one that I took when I was in Venice. So there are a ton of filters. If you go to like the little shop, you can pay for some, but there are free ones. So I downloaded all the free ones. And I did buy 1 pack because I really like the C filters. So my favorite filter is C6. And I normally pull it down to about halfway. As I said, I don't like super edited things. So I tend to bring mine down to like 6. Then I'm going to come over to the exposure. And I do like a lower exposure. I'm going to say like 2. And so if you just hold down on the photo, it shows you the original and then the edited one, so I can kind of see what I've done. And then I also tend to pull down the contrast a bit too. I'm gonna bring that to 1.5. I don't think I'm gonna, maybe I'll crop it a little bit. There we go. So I tend not to play with all like the screws. I don't play with the sharpen or the clarity. And then I'm gonna come to the saturation. And I might just give it a little more color. I actually tend to, when I'm editing, pull down the saturation. I don't like really saturated photos, but in this case, I do want the ice cream to look a little brighter, have a little more color in it. I normally don't tend to play with the highlights or the shadows. And then temperature. Now C6 tends to add quite a bit of cool tone to it. So I think I'm gonna leave it where it is actually. And then tint, I will normally play around. I don't tend to go towards one side. This one, I'm gonna go towards the more green tint, but sometimes I add more of a pink tint to it. It just really depends on the photo that I'm editing. And then skin tone, even though, you know, it's just my hand, I do like to play around with the skin tone even if there is no, like, nobody's in the photo, just cause, as you can tell, it adds like a little more pink into it on one side and then a little more green to the other side. So I'm just gonna bring it up on one side. And then grain, I always add a little bit of grain to my photos. I'm gonna add like +2. And then sometimes I'll add fade. I'll add a little bit of fade to this one. Okay, and so here's my before and my after for my ice cream photo. So you can probably tell that I tend to go with lower contrast, lower exposure, cool tones, you know, that's kind of what I like. And I find that a lot of people tend to go towards warm tones with photography just because it's like warm tones are kind of like happy and then cool tones are more like sad and like dreary. But I don't know, I've always just liked cool tones better. So I'm gonna try editing this sunset photo. This one's a little harder just because the sun is really bright, but then obviously like the sand's really dark, so it's very contrasty. So I'm gonna get my C6 filter and then again bring it down to 6. And then when it comes to exposure, I'm actually gonna add a little bit just because it's very dark. And then the contrast, I'm gonna take away quite a bit of the contrast. I do like the contrast in the photo, that's what I was going for, but it is super contrasty. So I don't need to crop or do any of this. I'm gonna go to my saturation, and I actually think I'm gonna add a little bit of color into this one too, just because it was very like gray before. And now I'm gonna go over to temperature. I'm just gonna put a little bit of cool tone into this. Actually, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna do anything with it. I like it where it is. Okay. And then with the tint, I like a little bit of the pink in there. And skin tone. I think I'm gonna put a little bit of pink in there too. Okay, and then for the grain, I don't wanna make this one super grainy, so I'm just gonna put it at 1. And I don't think I'm gonna add a fade. Okay, so, you know what? I think I'm gonna pull down my contrast a little bit just because the sun looks so bright. I changed my mind. It's actually very pink. I think I'm gonna go back to the skin tone and just leave it at nothing. Okay, so here's my before, here's my after. And I'm gonna move on to my last photo, which is this one. It's me holding some pressed juice that I bought. So again, I'm gonna go to C6 and I actually, let's see. I kind of like C8 better actually. Okay, bring it down. And with the exposure, I like the exposure where it's at. And I'm gonna pull a little bit of contrast out. And then this one I do want to crop just because there's a lot of space left above and next to it. Okay, there we go. And then with the saturation, I'm gonna just put a little bit in there just because I want to make that pink and my nails pop. Then when it comes to temperature, I'm actually gonna pull a little bit of blue out of it because it was very cool toned. And the tint, I don't think I'm gonna play around with that. Okay, and I'm gonna come over to the grain, add a little bit of grain, and do I want to fade? I'll add a little bit of fade. So here again is my before and my after. So if you want to follow me on VSco and just check out what I post, my photography, you can follow me at arosemary74, and you can follow me everywhere, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, arosemary74. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and try it out. You know, I would recommend buying that pack that I bought to get the C6 filter. I love that all the C filters, I find they are really nice with the style of photography I like. So make sure to leave a thumbs up, comment down below what you want to see next week, and I will see all of you guys later.